In the science and practice of humility, one of the central themes is how to see a latent order in what we believe is chaos. Now, around us here in Tiruvannamalai at the moment, all we see on this level, on the ground of existence, is chaos. We believe it's separate, and this is all we believe it is happening. In my book, I symbolize this through two primary states of awareness, where you have the warrior state of consciousness and the sage's state of consciousness, which are two levels of perception. Now, all the warrior sees is what I was mentioning, is the chaos around us, everything that's happening here, on the ground level, on this level of perception. All we see is the detail of what's going on. Now, this not only means on the physical sphere, it also means within our mind. It also means within the beliefs we have, the concepts we have, the images, and ultimately our own personal agenda, which leads to our own personal opinion, which ultimately leads to more chaos and to actually a crazy chaos in the form of war and conflict and so forth and so on. Now, different to this, what the sage sees is an intrinsic rhythm to this chaos. They see actually a harmony, but not from this level of existence, not from the ground here. They see an intrinsic rhythm and harmony from a higher level of perception. Now, in Eastern philosophy, in the mystical tradition of Hinduism, this is symbolized by Brahma, the creator God, who has the inhalation and the exhalation of Brahma, which is referring to the contraction and the expansion of consciousness. Now, what that means is that when our consciousness is contracted, we are caught in the detail of life around us. The detail, what we believe is separate and everything. Now, the expansion is a way of evolving your perception to a higher level to see what the sage sees, to see the order, the harmony, the rhythm, that everything itself is not separate but actually unified. Now, in the Western tradition, there is also the evidence of this, which is the same as the breath of Brahma. We find this in Gnosticism and in Hermeticism, where they speak about the involution and evolution of consciousness. The involution is actually to be involved in the detail again, to be caught, your mind caught in the detail of worldly dramas, of worldly events. And the evolution is evolving the consciousness to that level that a sage sees, where they see the order and the actual harmony to what we believe is chaos around us. So what the sage seeks to do is not to keep their perception caught in the ground of detail here. They begin to purge out their beliefs, their opinions, and ultimately their personal agenda of life, because they know that if they have their own personal agenda, then what this chaos is, it just leads to more chaos, and it just never ends. It's a perpetual cycle. So to articulate this, what we see behind us is the temple of Shiva and the holy mountain of Arunachala in the town of Tiruvannamalai. Now, what we see from the ground here is we see chaos on the ground here from the temple of Shiva level. But the sage, on the other hand, what the sage sees is from the state of where Arunachala is. It's an evolved perception. So what we believe is going on here, to a sage, is actually not true. To them, what is truly going on is this. So this is the reality according to a sage. This is their state of perception, which is completely different to the warrior, whose mind is caught in the detail of worldly dramas of life, the endless suffering. From this vantage point, what do we see? We see that life is tranquil, serene, silent. You see a beautiful order to what's happening around us here. Now, the warrior may ask, is my state of perception wrong? Because I don't see this order. All I see is the chaos, the detail, and so forth and so on. We need to get out of the idea of right and wrong here, because there are two primary states of awareness in the world, the warriors and the sage. You either have one or the other. The only thing is that if you have your mind focused on enlightenment, on complete liberation in this world, then you need to, in the end, work into the warrior mind and begin to transcend all of your own personal agendas and opinions of the world. Otherwise, you'll just keep contributing to chaos. If you begin to start taking and evolving your perception out of the warrior mind, out of the detail, then you'll begin to have what is called the Zen mind in Japanese, which is a way of seeing directly into reality, seeing the order and what we believe is chaos. Now Adi Shankara speaks about this when he talks about Brahman. Brahman being the ultimate reality. And he said a beautiful phrase when he was mentioned Brahman, and he said, Brahman is real, the universe is unreal, and the universe is Brahman. Now this may seem contradictory, almost paradoxical, but the last line, the universe is Brahman, explains the first two. Meaning that from the warrior state of perception, you are defining the world, you are measuring the world according to your own beliefs and your own agendas. And all this does is lead to more chaos and more chaos. But from the sage state of perception, all they see is Brahman. All they see is the ultimate reality. And only when you see that, according to a sage, does the universe become real. Actually, it's perfect in a sense when you see this Brahman. And this perfection was questioned once by a disciple to a Zen monk, because the Zen monk told the disciple that the universe is perfect. Doesn't matter how you think about it or what you believe, the universe is perfect. The disciple said, but all I see is war and discord. I see all of the suffering that people have. How can you say it's perfect? And then the Zen monk said that what you believe is war and discord on this level, actually from a higher level, is perfect and harmonious. What you need to ask yourself is what mind got us into the state of war in the first place? Not whether you believe it's good or bad, what state of mind got us there? And so the disciple was taken back because the Zen monk explained to him it was the warrior's state of mind. How can we heal all of our problems in the world by having our perception caught in the detail without seeing reality as it truly is? And this is what the Zen monk was explaining to the disciple. You need to evolve your perception to be able to see Brahman and see reality as it truly is, or you'll continue to see the world as you want it to be, which is the false state of perception.